Welcome to part 2 of the basics of Microsoft Excel 2010. This video we will cover the basics of entering information, entering data, numbers, text, that kind of thing, moving around the spreadsheet, and entering formulas, and just some more details about different parts of the spreadsheet. So let's dive in here. Entering information into Microsoft Excel is actually fairly easy. You just pick a cell where you want to start, and we're going to start in cell A1, and you begin to type. So in cell A1, let's just type in Wilmington High School. And that's basically it. To confirm or submit the information into the spreadsheet, you can do one of a couple things. You can click the check arrow here, which is like hitting your enter key. You can click the X if you want to delete it or cancel it. You can hit your enter key on your keyboard, or you can just click into another cell. Excuse me, and that will basically put that information into the cell. So in cell A1 right now, we have Wilmington High School. Now, a little fact here that some students and some people actually have a hard time grasping is all your information is in cell A1. While it looks like there is information here in cell B1, there is not. If I click on cell B1, you will notice here in the formula bar there is no information. A1, Wilmington High School. B1, there's nothing in there. Okay, so I can type information in cell B1. Let's just put the word Wildcats down there. And you will see that it comes on top of the information in cell A1. So in cell A1, we still have Wilmington High School. In cell B1, we have Wildcats. Okay, the information in cell A1 is still there, but it is behind the information in cell B1. Quick way, there's two different ways actually, or a couple different ways to show that information in cell A1. If you notice between each of the columns and each of the numbers, you will have a little line. Okay, if you take your plus sign or your arrow, whatever you want to call it, and put it up right on one of those lines, you will get a double arrow. If you click and hold and drag to the right, it will increase the size of the column. So that way you can see Wilmington High School and then Wildcats. Another way of doing it, and let me put this back here so I can show you another way of automatically sizing to the largest text is doing the same thing, going to the same place and double clicking. It will automatically increase the size of the column or row, this also works for rows, to fit the longest piece of information in that row or column. Okay, and that's entering text. The one thing you will notice about entering text is text enters on left alignment. I should say when you enter it, it becomes left aligned. Sorry if that sounded a little funky. All right, so when I enter Wilmington High School, it enters so it is left aligned. If I entered a number, let's just say 12545, and hit enter, it automatically right aligns. Okay, that's how you can tell if something is being entered as text or a number. Text automatically left aligns, numbers automatically right align. Okay, that is the difference between the two. So that is entering text and numbers. Also resizing columns and rows, basically by just going up to the top there and resizing that way. Moving around a spreadsheet, hopefully you're getting the idea at this point. One of the easiest ways is pointing and clicking on a cell. So in other words, just pointing and saying, oh, I want to be right there, and I click, and it makes it active. Another way of doing it is using the arrows on your keyboard. Okay, you can basically click around and select arrows that way. Using your enter key will move your active cell down one. Using your tab key will move your active cell to the right one. So those are several different ways of getting around a spreadsheet. Okay, probably the easiest way, as I said, is either your arrow keys or the point and click method of just using the mouse. So either way of those is fine. Again, it is personal preference. I can't grade you on how you are selecting a cell or something like that. So just make sure that you are actually going to where you're supposed to be going. Okay? Now, as you are going around, and I'm going to throw some numbers in here just so we can give you some demonstrations here. I threw in 4 numbers there. Now, if I want to select those numbers, okay, all at once, let's say I want to format them and for some reason maybe make them into currency or something like that, I don't want to do each one separately. I want to do them all at the same time. So I would select the multiple cells. Selecting adjacent cells is called selecting a range. Okay, this is a range of cells. In order to do that, you take your plus sign and go into the middle of the first cell, click and hold and drag. I have now selected a range of cells. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4 cells that is selected. That is a range of cells. While I'm here, you will notice down on the bottom in that gray area, that gray calculation bar I mentioned in the last video, you will notice the auto calculate area that has come up. So the average of those 4 numbers is 4,201. There's a count of 4 numbers. Okay, a minimum is 125, maximum is 12,584, and then the sum of those numbers is 16,804. All right, so please, again, be aware of where this bar is because you will need it. All right, so that is what's called a range of cells. Now, the other thing I want to talk about right now, and this is kind of cool, and let me put in Monday and Tuesday. Okay, we're just going to put in Monday and Tuesday there, and I'm going to select Monday and Tuesday as my range. Okay, what I am starting is a sequence. A sequence are things that are in order. So obviously there's Monday and Tuesday. The nice thing about Microsoft Excel is it makes a lot of assumptions for you, and most of the time they're correct. Okay, what you have here in a lower right hand corner, you'll see a small box. That is what's called your fill handle. It fills things or copies them. So if I, after selecting Monday and Tuesday as my range, go to my fill handle, it'll turn into a black plus sign instead of a white one. I click and hold and I keep dragging, it will finish out the week for me. So now I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It will also do the same for numbers if I want to do that. So in other words, I have 1, 2, oops, selected 1 too many. I have 1, 2, so now I have 3, 4, 5. It will do multiples, so in other words, if I do 2, 4, 6, and then I select my fill handle, it will actually go up by 2. So as soon as it sees there's a sequence and knows exactly what you want, you can use your fill handle to finish off that sequence. That fill handle will also copy formulas. It will copy words. So in other words, if I just did Wilmington here, all right, maybe I just wanted to fill Wilmington down because it's going to be in all of them. So in other words, I go to my fill handle right there and I drag down. It will copy the word Wilmington all the way down. That is what your fill handle will do for you. Okay, it is a very powerful tool. You just got to know when to use it. Remember, Wilmington, do not use this to select a range. You don't want to use your fill handle to select a range. Basically, it is just for copying and extending ranges and that kind of stuff. Okay, now let's put in a few more numbers back up here so that way we can actually add them, and one more, 4, 5. All right, next thing I'm going to show you is using your auto sum or summing up numbers. Okay, so let's put in one more column of numbers just so you guys know what's going on. All right, what you do to sum up a range of numbers, and no, you don't have to bust out a calculator or anything like that. That's the one wonderful thing about Microsoft Excel is it basically has all these things built in for you. So if I wanted to add these 3 numbers and I wanted to put the answer or the sum in cell E4, I would select cell E4, and then on your home ribbon over on the right hand side you will see a backwards E. This is what's called your auto sum button. The backwards E in Greek alphabet is called sigma, but for us it's called the auto sum. Okay, and all you have to do is click that and it will select a range for you. You can see how it is got the little marching dots or marching ants going around it, whatever you want to call it, and it says, is this what you want to add up? So B4, the range or argument, B4 to D4. So you have equals sum, B4 to D4. This is what's called the function. Remember I had mentioned the functions before. This is a function or formula. So you have equal sum, open parentheses, and then the range B4, the colon means 2, and then D4. Okay, and then close parentheses. That is what I want added up. I hit enter, and it gives me the answer or the sum of those three numbers. Now, using my fill handle, again, I want to copy that formula. I copy down, and it gives me the answer to all three. What it does is, as I copy down, it adds 1 to the range. So in other words, instead of B4 to D4, this one will be B5 to D5, B6 to D6, and B7 to D7. That is the autofill. So it's kind of nice. All right. That is a very quick lesson in how to use the auto sum button. If you click the arrow next to the auto sum button, there are other options there, and they basically do the same thing. So you have average, count numbers, max, min. If I wanted to average a row of numbers, so you click that. And if I wanted to just average, instead of putting this total in or the sum in, if I just want to average these three, I can click and select that range, then hit enter, and it will give me the average of just those three numbers. And again, I can go ahead and put those three numbers down, or excuse me, use my fill handle to average the rest of the three numbers going across. Hopefully that has explained several of the basics of Microsoft Excel. We'll be going into inserting charts in the next video, but that should give you a good start into Microsoft Excel and entering information and using formulas. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you back here soon.